Hey guys, Dillis here. In this video, we're going to be installing tow mirrors on the Ram, and it's kind of specific here, but you can apply this to pretty much any modern pickup truck. Pull off the door panels, undo some screws, plug in a harness, and put it in the mirror. It's pretty easy unless you're going to do some customization or something that's not a direct fit. So yeah, so let's get to it. A couple tools you need for this is a 10mm socket. You don't need power tools, just a simple wrench will do. You'll need a T20 Torx bit. You'll need a Phillips head or a flathead screwdriver. It's a pretty large one, so flathead would work too, but if you have a large Phillips, that'll be good. And then you probably want some trim tools. I found that getting the outside screws out, I had to put a little bit of pressure with a trim tool to get the screw to bite and come out of the clip. You'll need a pick or a tiny little screwdriver. If you have real thin pry tools, mine weren't thin enough, it'll probably work to get the cover off of the Phillips head screw that's in the middle of the door. Some tools you also want is a couple zip ties and something to cut them. First things first, is a good idea to put down the window on the side you're working with. That way, as you're taking the bolts out, you can hold on to the mirror pretty easily. Next, take your T20 Torx bit and take out the 6 screws located around the door. And you might need to pry on them a little bit to get the screw to catch. Alright, so this one came out no problem. Next, you want to pry this panel off gently. It's definitely better to use a plastic tool, but my trim tools are too thick to get in there. Looks like someone may have already tried to pry in this previously. I'm just going to pry back here and it'll pop off. You can pull the handle out if you need to. When you do, you'll expose the Phillips head screw inside. Next, you can gently pry back on this panel. Use a pry tool back here if you need to, and just pop it off. But you probably shouldn't need one. It's just a couple clips. Now use the handle and grab on other parts of the door and just lift up. I'm just using the handle and then begin to pry it off the frame. Now you can disconnect the harnesses to the driver's side controls. For the driver's side, I found it easier to push the controls up out of the door and do the second harness that way. And the passenger side, I didn't have any issue. Next, you want to detach the mirror harness. There's a clip here. Just pull that out. And then there's a harness in here. Actually there's 2 connectors in here. Just pinch and pull out. Lastly, to get the mirror off, we're going to take off these 3 10mm nuts. Don't forget this one back here. The mirror should stay in when you take this one out, but be careful anyway. And now you can gently pull the mirror from the front and pull the wiring harness through. You don't have to do this, but I just like to take a little Windex or soapy water and clean up the mounting surface. Doesn't really matter, but it's kind of nice to have it clean everywhere if you can when you got it apart. So I noticed I've also got these panels open. I'm also going to clean them out later. The new mirrors came in and they feel pretty solid. I don't remember ordering the smoked ones, but I think I was going to get the clear and smoked them if I wanted to, but it's fine. eBay life. I'm going to try and stick with the stock bolts. I just feel like they're going to be a better quality than what came in the package. So what we want to do real quick is just take these protectors off the studs. And then looks like the connectors should be the same. So I'm going to put the mirror up and mount this through. Okay, so I've just got them finger tight up there and tighten it down a little bit more in a minute, but so far they feel so good, and the mirror quality doesn't seem half bad for eBay mirrors. I might even say the mirror quality looks a little better than the tow mirrors on here. And they do feel a little heftier, so I don't know if it's just the construction or the design of the mirrors, but they don't feel half bad for first quality. We'll see how they are driving later, if there's any vibration. So since I need both hands, I'm not going to film it, but I'm going to hold the mirror up and push it into the door jamb, and then tighten these down a little bit. If you got the eBay special like me, the studs are a little bit deeper than stock, so you want to use a deep socket to tighten them. But these are pretty good. Don't need to overkill. Next, let's connect up the harness over here. Good thing these have shapes, right? And we're in there. Yeah, they work. Puddle light comes on and turn signal is working. Now we can put the door back together. Putting the door back on is just a reverse of taking it off. So I'm going to connect the harness to the door controls, mount the door, put in the screws, and call it a day. One thing that was on factory that isn't included here is a connector. So I'm going to get a zip tie and tie that on. All right, so I've got the harness run up and then zip tied to the mounting point for the factory harness, then run through here. Moment of truth. Oh, they fit fine. Time to put the clips and the screws back in. Let's put the screw back in the middle of the door. Screws in. Let's get this guy back in there. Probably a good idea to test the window. We're good. Door locks. Yep, good to go. Door is back together. It's looking pretty good. Got some styrofoam stuck on here. Looking pretty good, pretty solid. Let's flip it up. Pretty solid. And back in. Let's try folding them. And the fold is good too. I thought it was hitting the glass there for a minute, but it's not. It's just hitting the stopper. There's a little bit of wobble in that lock position. It's not up here, it's in the hinge, but I think it'll be good for driving, unless you're going over serious bumps. A couple quick things. These screws and retainers are plastic, so be careful, you don't want to strip them. But basically the clip goes in, and then the screw doesn't really screw in. It screws into the clip and it just expands the clip to keep this from popping out. The other thing is there are a bunch of hooks on the door, here, and in the bottom as well. So you want to make sure that you're coming in from the top and as close as you can and coming straight down. Try and clip on all those, otherwise the door a few will be on and one will be off and it won't go back on, so you have to lift it up and put it back on. So ask me how I know. On the Tahoe, there's only two at the bottom. It's much easier. You put the two in the bottom and then the whole door just kind of clips on. This one you got two at the bottom, two at the top. But very similar door operation. Thanks for watching. Please like, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff. And may God bless you and keep standing up for what's right.